because I have been in this place myself, and I know how much courage you need to actually abandon the ideals that other people put on you. Hello everybody, so welcome to another video. This video is going to be very simple, chill, easy, and it's gonna carry one, for me, very important message that have been on my mind for maybe like 3 months intensively. And even though I would be still making videos, I don't know, throughout the beginning of this year, I still had this one idea in mind that I wanted to express through this work that I do on YouTube, through my work that I coach clients. I would be still thinking about this one specific word. And since I've been focusing mainly on alignment, which is always going to be throughout my whole work in anything that I do, it is going to be the first stepping stone before any action. It's one of the most important things that we have to cherish in our lives, the alignment of knowing who we are, knowing who we want to be, and knowing what behaviors we want to incorporate into our lives in order to achieve that. And it is a very simple framework that is non negotiable. And it is really just knowing yourself and knowing where you want to go and knowing your flaws and shadow so that you can prepare your own self to surpass this shadow and to accept it at the same time and to love it at the same time, but still having this direction towards your ideal self. Because once you understand something, it no longer has your emotion side in it. Once you understand something, you're like, oh, okay. If you understand why a person would scream at you, you would be not that emotional about him screaming at you. You would be understanding them. You would be very calm about it because understanding means wisdom, and wisdom is calm. And so that's why alignment, and that's why brutal honesty is super important. However, when we say the word alignment and when I say this message and this philosophy, let's say, it's missing something. And the something was missing more and more throughout any post that I've created in my community, in any new client that I would be talking to. Actually, I would be already speaking with this philosophy of, adding this one thing that was missing. And even though the word itself, alignment, and the overall message behind it is, to me, it's like a virtuous approach to life. It is one of the calmest and one of the most, let's say, wisest wisest ways how to live the life. I was still missing there some grit. I was missing resilience and relentlessness. And every time I would see a post or any time where I would read a book that was encouraging me to be more out there, to be more daring, it always sparked something within me. And the last sign, as I've already mentioned, was that event of very, very daring people. It was just events where everyone sprinkled a little bit of ignorance to something that other people might not understand really, or in the beginning, as at least no one really understood AI, or from the majority of people, not many people understood AI, not many people understood sound, not many people understood anything basically, because it was simply unfamiliar. And brain doesn't like unfamiliar things. Brain hates it because unfamiliarity means uncertainty. And when we understand other people, like, and their very natural reactions and their brain reactions, literally, it becomes very easy to just forget the eyes, just ignore it a little bit. And it becomes way easier to follow the one thing that you are here to do. I believe that it is not a arrogant thing to want to be more than average, to even be mad about being average. I don't believe that it's us as a children that we have been born to this amazing earth. We are not here to become generic, and we're not here to play it safe. We're not here to listen to other people's opinions that are unqualified and think that we have to obey their perspectives that has nothing to do with us, actually. I believe that as a children, we're born with this very clean slate of the pure potential. It is pure love, genuine love, potential, pure possibility. And this is basically what I want to come back to and what I want to aim for. I'm not saying that it's completely possible to get there, but when you think about people like Michael Jackson or Rick Rubin or even Elon Musk, they they have one thing in common, and many more, many people that have created extraordinary stuff like Michelangelo, Picasso, Leonardo da Vinci, Martin Scorsese, or Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan, or Andrew Carnegie. They did one thing. They really dared. They did dare. And they dared with this unapologetical way of being themselves. Salvador Dali. They dared to the point where they might have just even like isolate themselves a little bit in order to not be influenced by other people. And I'm not saying that this was the healthiest and the most socially healthy way on how to come up with something extraordinary, but this is what I say that in my philosophy right now it is acceptable. Because if you have to sacrifice a period of your life for something that is helping people in generally, in any way, like anything we want to do here is to inspire, to push other people for better, to help them in any way, to make positive impact basically. And if we can do that, it's absolutely worth the sacrifice. And you also have to dare a lot when you're sacrificing, because you're daring against your comfort, you're daring against your fears and your doubts that might have been still written in your subconscious mind. And it's not easy, it's quite challenging, and you really have to work with yourself, with your mind, and with your shadow as well. I see so much potential in every person, and I just can't do the supports that I want to do with just bringing the message only uh, about alignment. It is important to be aligned, but once you are there, once you have made this part complete, or let's say semi-complete, because it will never be complete, as literally this is what I have this last month been through. This is literally like a realignment process, I would say, because I was aligned when I started my community on Alignment Society. When I started this channel, I was aligned with helping people to get to understand themselves, to get to love themselves, to know themselves. But right now, as I see it, and as I have put my puzzles into this never-ending picture, I have realized that it's time to change again a little bit more, to speak how I really want to speak, and to share my message that I really would believe in. And I also am resonating in a lot of messages or posts from this content creator Zach Pogrоб. I hope that I'm not messing up his name, but he is basically the one that was part of this inspirational package, because every post would just make sense. Even though they're really going sometimes into extremes, I am not saying that it's bad if you really want to not be average. And in this world, especially, being better doesn't necessarily mean being better in something that you do, but it might actually mean being more you, as Chris Doe said. And it really resonated with me. And it makes so much sense, because there are over 8 billions of different combinations of DNA, of experiences, of history. And there had been many more. Like, honestly, I would like to know the number of how many people have ever lived here on this planet. But as many people have lived on this planet, that many unique creations were created. And when I realized this, then any message or any opinion about, oh, why aren't you more like Jessica? Oh, why aren't you more like Thomas? Why aren't you more like your brother? Or you should do stuff that your dad does, because doesn't matter. So many people will try to put you in a place where they want you to be, where they see you. And it is not necessarily bad. Like, I'm not saying to blame anyone, because everyone is doing their best. If they knew better, they would do better. And so, for example, if it comes to your parents, or if it comes to your trusted teacher that is advising you about your career path, like, you definitely can listen to anyone that you want to listen to, in addition, when they're qualified. But then what you want to do is to sit down and to think about what you really want. And that is the part that requires that tremendous amount of courage, because I have been in this place myself, and how I know how much courage you need to actually abandon the ideals that other people put on you. It's not easy. And for some people it's easier. For some people, especially for empaths, for sensitive people, it's not easy at all. And I just want to say that if you are currently in this situation, it's okay to be confused. It's okay to not really know yet. It's okay if you feel like their opinions are actually starting to be your own opinions. But just sit down with your own self and just think about and differentiate. Okay, is this opinion going from my own inspiration, from my own gut, from my own sense of what I'm capable of my potential? Or is this going from, I want to be stable, I don't want to disappoint others, I don't want to be the center of our Thanksgiving dinner, just because I want to go for art school. And so this time I wanted to correct it. I wanted to, again, dare myself and put the real message I wanted to say. And so I sat down, I wrote it out, I wrote it with a brutal honesty, and that's how Dare District was born. And I'm just adding more action and more of unapologetical authenticity. And so That's what's important for me at this moment. And so if that is important for you, I'm gonna be very happy if you stay here or if you join if you're new here. And this is gonna be a place where you just can be weird, you can be stressed, you can be excited, you can be an ape, you can be very curious, you can be anything that you want to be. And so right now I'm definitely going to be doing any of my posts in my community, any of my videos, or anything that I do also in my personal life with this intention in mind to really dare. If I want to dance in the street, I'm going to dance in the street because why not? You can. And you never know who you're going to inspire by doing so. Daring means that you want to ask the question in the room full of silence because everyone else is just scared to look stupid. I want to inspire you to be daring in a way that other people really don't understand, but you do, because you do understand yourself. You've done the work that maybe other people didn't. And so if you are going to be ridiculed, if you're going to be cringe in the eyes of other people, like let it just go through. And daring is the one who wants to break the generational trauma, who starts the difficult conversations, who speaks up for maybe someone who wouldn't speak up for themselves, who speaks up for their own selves, and the one that is starting the business that he was thinking about, the one that is basically starting, and the one that continues, because the amount of persistence you can have represents directly the amount of belief that you have in yourself. And this belief can be also cultivated as anything in your subconscious mind. And so that's what I'm also a big advocate to as well. You can literally create consciously your own identity, and you can, with persistence, with the work, with a little bit of, like sometimes it might feel forced and tough. That's also daring. And everyone that has made something worth sharing, something worth talking about, was daring at some point. And that's why I believe that this word is super important in our lives. And that's why this whole section of internet that I want to pour my heart into is called Dare District. Now I just fucked up my own name. So with all of that, that is how the idea of Dare District was born. I wanted to make this video not like as an announcement, but rather like a reminder that it is okay to not be really understood, and it's okay to put a little bit of ignorance into the external world once you really find one thing that you could be doing 16 hours per day. And if that is something that you already found, you have found yourself a treasure and you want to cherish it. Ever since you've been born, the potential was there and is still there. It's just waiting. It's like glowing embers, and all you need to do is to light it up with a little spark, and then you come back with the fire in your belly, with the grit, with the relentlessness, and with the desire to just not come to this line of average, and to be daring to stand out and to be different, because it's one of the best feelings and one of the greatest assets nowadays, to be different. Sometimes it's even more valuable than being better in something technical. So yeah, again, I want to thank you so much for being here, and I deeply appreciate it, and I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And we ain't stopping there. This is just the beginning. Stay awesome and start daring.